There comes a moment when silence becomes louder than anything you could ever say. Not a fight, not a long text, not some speech about how you feel disrespected, just the absence of your energy. And when that moment comes, when you finally walk away without a word, that's when they notice. That's when they finally realize you were the one holding it all together. The misunderstood power of distance. See, we live in a world where people think volume equals strength. Speak louder, argue harder, prove your point. But the real ones, they don't need to prove anything. They disappear silently. And that silence hits way harder than any rant ever could. When you walk away without noise, you shift the power instantly. You're no longer seeking validation. You're not trying to be understood. You're making one quiet, bold statement. I'm done. And I don't need you to get it. Real ones don't chase closure. Let me be straight. The people who care about you won't put you in a position where you have to beg to be respected. But when you realize they don't care, you don't argue. You don't beg. You vanish. Because begging for someone's decency is beneath your purpose. And if they ever gave a damn, they wouldn't need to lose you to notice. You know what Jay-Z once said? The most gangster thing you can do is move on. No scene, no drama, just movement. That's real power. You're not cold, you're focused. Some people will call you cold. They'll say you've changed. But here's the truth they won't say out loud. You stopped being convenient. You stopped being the one who always reached out, the one who always stayed, even after being disrespected. And now, they're uncomfortable because they lost access to the version of you that tolerated their nonsense. But walking away doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. Real talk. Some people only value you when you're gone. The craziest part? They won't see your worth when you're around. They'll only feel it when you're gone. It's human nature. We don't value peace until it leaves. We don't appreciate loyalty until we lose it. And we don't notice presence until it becomes absence. So let them feel your silence, not as punishment, but as your final act of self-respect. Think about it. Ever had a breakup where you tried to explain everything? You wrote paragraphs, you over-explained, you poured your heart out, and they still didn't care. Now picture this. You say nothing. You just stop replying, you stop showing up, you leave the chat undelivered, and weeks later, they're watching your stories, they're liking your posts. They're just checking in, because silence makes people face themselves. It removes the distraction you and forces them to sit in what they created. The weight of your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. You are not obligated to explain your worth to people who already chose to ignore it. Walking away is a filter. It reveals who's real and who was just there for convenience. And if they never come looking, that's your answer. As author Brianna Wiest once wrote, you don't have to convince anyone to love you. The right ones won't need convincing. Let that sink in. Silence is not weakness. People confuse silence with weakness. They think if you're not reacting, you're not affected. Nah, silence isn't the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. When you walk away silently, you're not running, you're choosing peace over performance. You're not playing the game anymore, you're done with the noise. And that scares people more than any confrontation ever could. The shift. Who you become after walking away. You don't just walk away from them, you walk toward yourself. You reclaim your time. You rebuild your self-respect. You focus on your purpose. And without all that drama in your way, you become dangerous in the best way. You become the quiet one people watch because your actions speak louder than anything they've ever heard. Let them wonder. Let them wonder why you left. Let them wonder if you ever cared. Let them replay the last conversation over and over in their heads, not because you're trying to hurt them, but because you finally chose you. You walked away without a single word. And that silence? It echoes in every room you once stood in. So if you've been questioning whether to walk away, here's your answer. Do it. Do it quietly. Do it with peace in your chest and purpose in your stride. Not for revenge, not for attention, but because you finally remembered who the hell you are. And you? You don't chase respect. You attract it by walking away from what doesn't deserve you,